Ladies and gentlemen, g'day, g'day. Welcome back to the channel. I'm a little bit sick, I will admit it. Well, actually, no, not a little bit. I'm quite sick. I'll be honest with you. I'm on like 1 hour of sleep, so just keep in mind. But the grind goes on, whether it's at work, family, or whether it's Blitz. You know, Blitz content goes on and on. Anyway, a very important video today. It's a topic I've been pondering over for a very long time, and it's something that has sort of crossed my mind for a long time as well. It's something that needs to be addressed, I think, and that is the issue of collector and premium tanks. Now, before update 5.5, there were a lot of tanks that were premium tanks. Okay, a lot of tanks that were premium tanks. And tanks that you could only sell for credits, because that's what premium tanks were. And then update 5.5 came around, and Wargaming decided to introduce the collector system and change these tanks to collector status. Not every premium tank became a collector tank, but every collector tank was technically a premium tank, or still is a premium tank. It's just a collector status. And what that means is, it means you can sell it for gold. That's the idea. My problem with having so many premium and so many collector tanks in the game is that it's starting to become like World Tanks PC, where Blitz just sort of becomes lackluster. It seems like there's a lack of content, a lack of, creativity, and a lack of sort of, the sense that you're actually progressing in the game. And the reason, obviously the biggest problem is that we haven't had a tech tree line in Blitz for a while now. And I don't understand why. Like the Type 5 Heavy line, for instance, that could have been a tech tree line, but instead it's a collector tank, a T10 collector tank. That I can confirm. I can't say anything else about the tank except the fact that it is going to be a collector tank, which makes me wonder why. Wargaming, you could have made this a brand new tech tree line for everyone to get, right? Everyone could have this tank, okay? Doesn't need to be a collector tank. Another tank that we're going to cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars in order to get the bloody thing, but rather have it in a tech tree. Have everyone the ability to play the tank, but also for people to grind the entire line. Everyone's been wanting the Type 5 Heavy line for ages in Blitz. It's one of the most anticipated tank lines in Blitz ever. Right, it's in World Tanks BC. The whole tank line is fun to play, especially the OY at Tier 6. It's basically a KV2, just with much more armor, and it's just bigger, way bigger. And that's what I think is missing from Blitz. It's that charm, right? That sense of, yes, I'm actually progressing in the game by grinding this tank line. We're missing tank line. Okay, I'm going to show you what we currently have for the German tech tree line, for instance, okay? Now, the VK7201K, albeit that is essentially the Panzer 7, I think it is, the Panzer Kampf, whatever, the Panzer 7, I think it's called. I can't remember what it's called. It's the T10 German tank that looks exactly like this tank here, the VK7201K. But the difference is that it's got a 128mm and not a 150, like this one, right? That's fine. The tank line is fine. We don't need that in Blitz, right? But like tanks, like the Soviet tanks, right? Why don't we have the Object 705A, for instance, that line, that tech tree line? It's basically a returreted IS-7 with a 152mm gun. Why don't we have that? That's such a fun tank to play in PC. I don't know how it is these days. I haven't played it since years ago, but it used to be very fun to play. I don't understand why it isn't anymore. Right, it's a pretty fun tank. I don't understand why we don't have it in Blitz. And then we have the Object 430U, for instance. Again, another tank line that I think should be in Blitz. It doesn't need to be just another PC line. It can be in Blitz. It can be implemented into Blitz, right? It's stuff like that that I think really should be in Blitz and shouldn't just be behind sort of paywall, whatever. What about the double-barrel tanks? We have double and triple-barrel tanks. We have the Annihilator. We have the Helsing. We have the Mouse tank. We have the Soul Eater, right? These are tanks that have technically a double barrel or a triple barrel system. Why is it that, having the ST2, for instance, right? Or the IS-3A or something like that. Like, why can't we have these tanks? Or the, what do you call it? The can opener, right? Why can't we have these tanks in Blitz? It'd be so much fun to see in Blitz a double barrel tank. Because technically, we have auto-loaders, we have auto-reloaders, right? You know, we have burst cannon tanks. Surely we can implement a double-barreled system to have, like the ST2 in Blitz. That'd be a very fun and new thing to have. All right, what about the, if we scroll down to the French line, for instance. The AMX-30B is a tech tree medium tank in PC. But for some reason, Wargaming decided to make the 30B a collector tank. And they also made the AMX-30 prototype also a collector tank, instead of making it into a tech tray line. Again, not sure what the logic was there, but they did it anyway. What else is there that is pretty awesome? The AMX-13-105. Again, another nice light tank that should be in Blitz, but it's not. What about the Panhard EBR 105? I'm sure wheeled vehicles would work exceptionally well in Blitz. Yeah, no, let's not put weird vehicles in Blitz. Wheeled vehicles into Blitz. Let's not do that. Okay, let's not do that. But if we go to the European line, what are we missing here? Anyone want to hazard a guess? We're missing Swedish tank destroyers. We're missing Polish tank destroyers. We're missing the Swedish medium tanks, the UDES. Why can't we have the UDES line? Or the Stridsvagn 103B? Or the Grom? Why can't we have these tanks in Blitz as tech tree tanks? What is the reason, ladies and gentlemen? Why? Now, I can understand the Stridsvagn 103B and, of course, the UDES because they have the hydro-pneumatic suspension. But I'm sure Blitz can work away. I'm sure Blitz can work their magic and make it happen. They can make it happen. Give us some of these tech trees, Wargaming. Make it more fun. Make the game engaging once again. I get Reforged is eventually going to come out. I understand. I get it. But for the time being, God knows how many months before it's officially released, if ever, give us something to do. You can't just keep giving us free events. Okay, I'm all for the free events, but you got to make us grind for a proper reward. Make it more engaging. Hence the reason why I say a tech tree is good, because it means people are going to go out there and they're going to start grinding these tanks. They're going to start grinding to get to that T10 tank, because that is the point of Blitz. It's not only just to play for fun or play your favorite tanks, but also to grind those new tank lines, to try out a new tank for free, but you have to grind it. Albeit, back in the day, it was a lot more difficult to grind up to T10. Trust me, we didn't have any times 3, times 4, times 5, and times 10 multipliers for XP. We didn't have XP boosters. We didn't have free XP certificates. We had to grind it from stock to fully equipped to get to the next tank. That's how it was. And that was the fun of the challenge. It was an interesting and engaging challenge that made us actually give a shit about playing the game. And that's what kept it engaging. But when you give people the opportunity to get to T10 easily, then what's the point? You sort of defeats the purpose, right? And I said it so many times before, and I'll say it again. 5.5 ruined the game. I know Driddles like to say that I'm wrong and that 5.5 isn't really bad. It is bad. I will still disagree with him for as long as I'm playing this game. It was a bad update. It was a terrible decision to remove the lower tiers, to make it difficult to play lower tiers now, to make it easier for people to get up to that top tier, because it means that there's more people that are not as skilled or don't have the right skill level playing at high tiers and ruining the game for those that actually want to perform well. I'm not saying that these people shouldn't play Blitz. No, they should, but they also need to learn the fundamentals that us veteran players learnt. And I get it. In this day and age, we're not patient anymore. There's players out there that are not patient. They're not patient enough to grind up the tiers. I get it. But make it so it is a little challenging, but at the same time, not as challenging as it once was. And you can do that by giving us more tech trees. Give us more tech tree tanks, Wargaming. and stop introducing more and more collector tanks that are supposed to be tech tree tanks. If they introduce the Centurion Action X as another collector tier 10 tank, I will literally lose my shit. Because it's really frustrating when we have these tanks that are really good and deserve to be in tech trees, and instead they are made into collector tanks. And that's what really pisses me off. Anyways, onwards and upwards, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this video sees you well. It's just a bit of a rant. It's my opinions, my feedback to wargaming, and I want to understand what you people, you ladies and gentlemen, actually feel about all these, premium tanks. I mean, let's face it. There's like 400 premium and collector tanks in Blitz alone, if not more than that. Okay, so like more than half the tanks in Blitz are premium and collector tanks. Sorry about that. It's unbelievable. Sorry, I'm struggling to breathe or like talk. Sorry, it's got to the point where I'm struggling right now. I've been talking for like 12 minutes. I think that's enough for me. Anyway, should probably go. Ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. Look after your friends and family. Peace in the Middle East. And as always, I'll catch you on the battlefield. And see you next time. And please tell me in the comments down below what you really, truly think about Blitz and how you think wargaming can make it better. And whether you agree with me, whether adding more tech tree tanks on a regular basis would actually help in this situation. Alright, cheers fellas. I'll talk to you guys later.